Hi, it's Pretty Go Back on the 23rd of December, 2012. And I'm looking at some newspapers on Sunday on American and Ireland, and I have a perception of what the news is doing. But first, what hot water can do. Now, I've had to use a hot water tap to kind of spike up some hot whiskey. And this photo, this video shot that I'm showing on youtube.com/topgold shows something from Triflow Concepts. It's like the Quooker, and you'd have to say that somebody's making a bundle of money on these hot water attachments. Stylistic and quite cool. Hot filtered water. I'd like to get some. It's probably expensive though. These Triflow Quadros are. I'm sitting at a kitchen table looking at the FT Weekend. Stuff on it that I'd like just to point out really fast. The Jobs estate in the dock over a yacht. Steve Jobs yacht. Still berthed, I think, in Amsterdam. It's 78 meters long. Embodies Steve Jobs' design vision. But there's a dispute. Only 6 of the 9 million euros has been paid to Philippe Stark. So he wants some more money. So he put a lien on it. It's going to sit there for a while. Hey, in England, they're looking at tolls for motorways. They got those in Ireland already. George Parker's got the story. We're looking at maybe treating roads in England as regulated utilities, run by companies with a dedicated funding stream. Pretty interesting. Same thing's happening in Ireland as happening in England. The road tax doesn't pay anymore for what it needs. It's a general income stream for the government. Cars are more green, and the tax take's fallen. Front page article by Sherazade Danish Coup. Champagne stops flowing and toy sales suffer as French lose their joie de vivre. The French are popping fewer champagne corks nowadays, spending less on toys as higher taxes, a deteriorating economy, and an exodus of national icons sap the country's joie de vivre. I'm not a French speaker, but the joy of life, the exotic status of just living, hard to do. You know, if you're a performer, at an A-lister film star, you're going to be paying more than 75% of your money earned as tax, I'll tell you that. You may be stretched to afford a gentleman's club. Now, this is an article on the second page of the Financial Times by James Pickard. He's a London correspondent. Gets an inside view of a nice club in London. Places that you can go to where difficult discussions can take place and discretion will be observed. Yes, I visited several, stayed overnight on a pass that I had from the Army and Navy Club in Washington. And what the correspondent doesn't go into is, well, he does show some stuff like ties, women. You can't always enter by the front door. Women can't. But man, the furniture is very unique. Often it's plundered from the Germans during one of the wars. Retailers are fighting online trend with fairy lights as a headline. An article written by Chris Ty and Andrea Feisted. Savvy bricks and mortar retailers are turning shopping into a theater, an entertainment that coaxes people to abandon online shopping and to venture out onto the high streets to spend. Works for us. This is the first winter in Ireland since I arrived here in '94 that I haven't bought a Christmas present in Dublin. Bonner puts onus back on Obama as tax plan founders. That's the U.S. fiscal cliff story. Richard McGregor, James Politai write about the problems. Markets are going to have to step in, so says the last item in the article, because that's the only way something will get done, says Charlie Cook, Washington political commentator. You know, last week I was watching every stock that was delivered to my iOS device pointing down, all the markets down. Big time recessions ahead for the United States. They won't get it right, so there will be some problems the first quarter of the year for sure. A school shield program being set up by the pro-gun lobby. Anna Fifield points out that gun-free school zones tell every insane killer in America that schools are the safest place to inflict maximum mayhem with minimum risk. That's Wayne LaPierre. NRA saying that, you know what, Wayne, you can also go to McDonald's or nursing homes or even cinemas and inflict mayhem, because you won't find armed guards at most of those places. Schools of etiquette, plotting a new cultural revolution. Patty Waldmeyer points out there are these finishing schools in China. Big clues if you're not schooled in the former forms of etiquette, such as you learn how to get a napkin up against your mouth but not get the napkin dirty. You can learn how to peel an orange without touching it to one's fingers. And another thing, you learn not to turn your knife blade towards your neighbor. People do that to me. Don't think they mean to. The cost of this stuff could run you about a 3-month program is $16,000 American dollars. I did 4 days of schooling on how to eat with someone named Gladstone Williams. It was Sylvia Gladstone Williams, paid for by the U.S. Department of State. Russians are being troubled by a faltering baby boom. Look at this. By 2030, steep decline in the number of women of childbearing age in Russia. It'll dip below 16 million Russian women childbearing age by 2030, up now around 23 million. Charles Clover does the story. Putin, the president, says, our women know what to do and when. A very earthy, folksy policy towards childbearing. Women in Russia have 3 kids. That should be the policy, right? Now, if you want to have the Russian gene pool maintained as your primary marker of your nationalistic society, you need more babies born with Russian surnames. Christopher Caldwell points out something I know. In the U.S., the voters, not the gun lobby, love the weapons. Plenty of people are looking at just the numbers. I mean, in Ireland, you see all these numbers about America's modern-day peculiar institution of 250 million guns. 250 million guns in private hands in the United States, yet the government of the United States regulates them less stringently than it does tobacco or office humor. You got that right. And then they do these surveys. Americans are getting fonder and fonder of firearms. In the 50s, 60% of Americans said they would support a ban on handguns. It's a whole ban on handguns. But by 2011, 73% said they would oppose one. So it's totally flipped. And like, you know, what do they want to do? Beef up the police force, more work on mental health screening, and maybe clamp down on violent video games. That's what Americans want to do to prevent the recurrence of the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut. Good luck on that. I'll tell you what. Okay, rest of the story here in the paper. Lots of things about the news and directions of stock prices. We've got stuff to do where I live, and it's going to start with Christmas decorations. Catch up with me on Twitter and see the stuff flow to my flickerphotostream.com/Irish Eyes. I'm Bernie. I'm thinking about Christmas. Hope you are too. Bye for now.